Blessed be everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another Witch Times Television. I am Goddess Rhonda, and of course we have with us, as always, our beautiful Goddess Starr.
Hi everyone, good to be here tonight. And I wanted to wish you all a blessed week and a blessed new moon, right? Tomorrow, I believe tomorrow. Yeah. And good to be here again tonight. Thanks.
As always, it's good to be here. It's good to see everybody. I see people are very active.
Yeah, they are.
In the chat room, it seems to be mostly about your wine.
I know, right? I'm going to get her. Jakey.
Well, to be fair.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on. You're right. It's Jakey. I thought it was our beautiful Goddess Judy is usually giving you.
I know, right? Judy must have said, you harass it. You get it tonight. I know, right? It's usually Judy that's doing it. That's okay. I know she's just resting for a second. She'll be on it too.
That's right. It's all right. It's all good.
Oh wait, I forgot. And she made me forget to pour my wine. Yeah, let me pour my wine there. There you go. It's all good.
Alrighty. So as always,
yeah.
Before we begin, we like to cast a circle of protection around us.
Getting my incense ready. Wow, I'm running out of my little incense that I made up. I gotta get some more going. Alrighty.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All hail our lords and ladies of the East, our brothers and sisters, our brother and patron, the sacred element of air, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. We charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is, so mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be. All hail our lords and ladies of the South. Oops, I'm sorry. Got it? All hail our lords and ladies of the South, my brother and sisters, my brother and patron, the sacred element of fire, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge you, please cause a barrier protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is, so mote it be.
So it is, so mote it be. All hail our lords and ladies of the West, our brothers and sisters, our sister and patron, the sacred element of water, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. We charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is, so mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be. Ooh. We all set? There we go. All hail our lords and ladies of the North, my brother and sisters, my sister and patron, the sacred element of earth. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge you, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is, so mote it be.
So it is, so mote it be. And we now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well-being and fill all of our spaces with peace and protection always. So it is, so mote it be. Thank you.
So it is, and so mote it be. Thank you.
All righty. So let's get started with tonight's program. So one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is, should you, or is it okay to hire other witches to do your witchy work for you? Now, I know that there are 2 schools, maybe even 3 or 4 schools of thought.
Yeah.
So we're just going to sit here and, whatever anyone, by the way, you always want to point out that we do not judge anybody. So if you think it's a good idea, we're on your side. If you think it's a bad idea, we're on your side. Whatever you think is what you think, and you're entitled to your own thoughts so about this. But we would like to hear from you regarding this. So now, my personal belief, and I had made a little tick sheet here, some pros and cons when I had a little time. I personally think on one hand, and because I'm actually on both sides of the
Yeah.
on the one hand, I think it's always good to have your own energy, your own intentions into your spell work, because it's your work and it should have your energy in it. You call in your lords and ladies, you people you're familiar with. You use, we're comfortable with our tools and things that we use. We've been using them for a long time, and when you're comfortable with your stuff, you can use it more efficiently than if you're trying something new and you're not quite sure how it works. But I think that for the most part, I don't even say for the most part, I'll say 50% of me says it's better to do your own work than to have someone do it for you, if you can. Some things, you might have a spell that's too complicated, that you might feel is too complicated for you to do, or there could be other deciding factors. If you are in an emotional state, let's just say you need money very badly, like you really need money so bad, and you're trying to do prosperity work, and you end up putting that anxiety into your spell work. And of course, your spell's not going to work as well as it could if you were clear-minded. And if you ground yourself and do all your techniques and you're still tense about it, then it might be time for someone to try to do it for you. What are your thoughts on that, Goddess Starr?
It's interesting. I'm like you. I'm at the 50-50 mark because of certain instances. I think the what you said is absolutely correct. And then additionally, I think many schools of thought is, I've heard many people say, no, the work is best done if you do it yourself because it's more empowering, it's more powerful, and all of that. Yes and no, because like you said, depending on how much you want it or how much your mindset is on certain things with it, some people may screw up with it and say, I should have done or added certain things, or maybe if someone else was thinking more clearer for them, they might get more out of it. It kind of depends, because I guess because I do so many for people and I understand where they're coming from with it. So I'm on the other 50% side at the moment, in the sense of allowing another witch to do it for them. Because sometimes, not that we're more powerful, absolutely not in any way. Don't even believe that part, because I think everyone has their own power, and more powering for their own spells. I think maybe sometimes we might be able to, or another witch might be able to step back from the subject because it's not close to us, and look at it at a broader picture that might be able to come up with a better solution for you, because we're not looking at it too closely. And sometimes when we want something so much that we're so embroiled in it, and we coming from that one aspect, we don't know how to step back and look at it neutrally from all aspects, so that we can really get what we need from it in its way that it's supposed to come out. So sometimes you're shocked as the way it's come out, or it didn't come out the way you wanted it to and actually turned against you, or things like that, because of that. Not that again, it's not because you're not powerful, but because whatever it is you wanted was so much that you just cannot focus in the right way to get that outcome of what you need. And a lot of times when you are wanting something so much too, it makes you slightly desperate. When you get desperate, you have a tendency to make mistakes without realizing it. Again, because it's that id fact, it means so much to you, whatever it is you want the outcome so badly, especially when it comes to, again, our two favorite things, money and love. It is the things that where we have the hardest time with things. So we have a tendency to have an issue with the results. And again, it depends on the spell too, because when, say, for example, for healing, I would prefer to have someone else work with me on it rather than me doing it, because you're healing because you're already in that bad position. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're so sick, you can't do it as well for yourself. So getting that outside help helps you get to the point where you can then, do more for yourself. It enables you. So it's not or assisting you, rather, not enabling, maybe wrong choice of words, but you know what I mean. It's in the sense of assisting you to a better position where you can then make the decision and go on from there. And your spells turn out even more better, and again, it's because of that wanting something so much and not looking at the bigger picture. What do you think, Goddess?
Well, I agree with that. I have so many witches that come to me, and the first words that they will say to me is, I tried to read this for myself. I just can't. I'm just too caught up in it, or I couldn't put my own emotions.
Exactly.
I have no problem with that. I do it for them.
Exactly.
All the time. But there's other things too, which while I agree is okay, if you need help, you need help. And if you need someone to step in and do the work for you, then by all means, have someone step in and do it for you. It's better that than you keep trying to do it yourself, and you're just getting frustrated and you're not getting anywhere, and you're getting even more frustrated and more frustrated. And all that, everything you feel goes into your spell work. And so even if there's a part of you that's like, there's so many people that I have been looking for love for so long, I'm just never find it. We see people will say that to them. Well, I'm never going to find love and blah, blah, blah. Well, you cast a spell when you said I'm never going to find love. So we do a lot of counter spells also on ourselves. Like, no, I lit this candle 3 days ago and I still don't have any money yet. You are now casting doubt on your own life.
Yep.
And so that doubt is going to go. And not only that, you're insulting the element of fire that's trying to do the work for you. And they're like, well, fuck you then. If you think you can do better, then you go ahead and do it. You have to remember you're also insulting people and spirits too. And you're like, oh, it's not working, blah, blah, blah. So I do think on that hand, and if you are in that state, then you should definitely consider having someone do the work for you. Now, there's also other reasons to have someone do the work for you as well. You can have some karmic issues going on that's stopping you from doing the work. And so you might need someone to come in and clear that negative energy, or there could be negative people, putting energies on. You may need someone to come in and stop that, or even have someone come in and assess why it's not working. It could be that you're asking for the wrong thing. It could be you're not supposed to have it because there's something else you need to do first, or there's something else you're learning from this situation. You haven't learned it yet. And so the universe, well, if we give it to you now, you're not going to learn your lesson. But if we just hold on for a little bit, and then once you get the lesson, then you'll get it. So you may just need an assessment as to, am I barking up the wrong tree at this time? Is there something else I should be working on before I get this end result? Or, what is it that I need to be doing? Because it can be very easy to get caught up. So like you said, like if you're feeling sick and, you need someone to help you, because doing energy work, spell work and energy work, it requires energy, and you're already compromised. So if you're going to, if you need someone to help you to feel better or clear whatever it is, make the assessment of what it is that is attacking you. Because a lot of times I have personally found that oftentimes it's a spiritual issue that is causing the physical issue. Now, this is typically for people who don't know what's wrong with them. They're like, I keep going to the doctor and they can't find anything and blah, blah, blah. Then I know there's something else going on here. Most people, or they'll come in and say, I have this issue or they have that issue. That's on the pro side of having a witch do that work for you. And I do healings all day long. However, using my own self as an example, I've had so many different kinds of very serious illnesses that should have put me under the ground but didn't. And I realized after a while that the universe wasn't trying to kill me. They were testing me to see, what do I know? What can I do? And what am I able to put together from the wisdom and tools that they have given me? We go through tests, and almost every serious illness, my Lyme disease, my 20-pound tumor, There's a myriad of things. There's always been no one to help me. I've had to pull myself up regardless.
Yeah.
And that also taught me how much strength I had. It taught me to be resilient. It taught me to be resourceful. It taught me to look up things and investigate and research what Absolutely. I can do to help myself.
Yes.
Create potions and things that I might not have done
yes.
if I wasn't sick. So it's also forced me to grow and evolve spiritually through wisdom, through my, my spell work and learning, or having deity come in and tell me directly, here's what, you need to do, or things like that. I can tell you that when things have gotten really brutal and I just couldn't help myself, spirit has stepped in and helped me. But the metaphysical doctors came in and helped me. But also, though, that is very important, is when, it might not be so much that you can't do it. It can be also that the universe is testing you. I mean, think about it. All of us, well, I know Goddess Starr and I assume many people out there have invested a tremendous amount of time and or money to learn what you know. And so if you don't use that knowledge, you can use it. And the universe is going to say, okay, you've learned this, this, and this. You've made it to this degree. You've done all this. Let's see what you can do. And they'll throw you in a situation not to punish you, but so that they can make an assessment to know, okay, she still needs work with this, or he still needs work with that, or he did really good with this. So now we can move him to the next level. Now we can move her to the next level because they're ready. And so, we also have doing assessments on the problem is probably more important than actually doing the spell work to figure out what's going on, because you can be walking around with your head down saying the universe doesn't love me. I make my offerings, I do this, I do that, but my work's just not working. And that might not be the case. You might be being tested, and I've been tested. In fact, I have this, I meant to bring it out and I forgot, but we'll save it for another show, with this used book that I bought, I don't even know how many years ago, and it just sort of fell out of nowhere. And when that happens, I know it's time for me to look at it. And it basically details, using your astrological chart, what it is you're here to learn and things like that. And so, this is all a part of my test is healing and taking care of myself on my own, regardless. I'm supposed to stand alone a lot in this lifetime. I was glad to know that, because I couldn't figure out what the hell the problem was, but it's all good. So you might just need an assessment. I didn't have anyone to make that assessment for me. So the universe took my book from wherever it was. I don't even know where this book was. It was just all of a sudden it was there, laying there. I took it out, which I did not. And that's usually a sign from the universe, read this. And so, you might just need an assessment on what it is that's going on with you and why it's not working, or things like that. Or you might just need to learn. This could be an actual test to teach you how to put your emotions to the side so that you can get your spell work done, or how to pull forth whatever energy you have left, or re-energize and rejuvenate yourself and your health to heal yourself that way. Not everything is just, you don't know what to do or you're upset. It could be a test from the universe to see what you can do with what you know, or to force you to research and take it to the next level. That's one of, because when everything is going great, you're not going to, you're not as inspired or have the incentive to do some research and look up some potions or look up some spells or find alternative means to help yourself, or look into all kinds of different prosperity spells or whatever, love spells or whatever it is. It can be the universe trying to motivate you to move forward with what it is you're trying to do. Or it can also be, if you just get sick of it and you've tried and tried, then go ahead and get someone to help you to do that. And that's okay. It's okay to ask for help. There is nothing wrong with that. And a lot of times we as witches, we don't like to ask for help. We can be very particular about the way we do our spell work, and the kind of candles that we use, and the methodologies that we use. And we don't know if the other person knows our way of doing it. As long as their way works, who cares if it's the same as yours? I don't care. If it works, it works. But, I think that there's just so, you can't really say, no, you shouldn't hire a witch to do your witchy work for you, or yes, you should definitely hire a witch to do your witchy work for you. It's really all up to you. And if you have tried and tried and tried and you can't figure out what to do, or you're lost, and you, quite frankly, you just don't feel like doing the research to figure it out yourself, there's nothing wrong, no bad karma in hiring a witch, another witch, who can be objective because they are not in your situation. So they can go ahead and push all that energy towards you to help you out of it. Or you can be a soldier and say, you know what, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. It's the last thing I do. And I'm going to research and research and research and research and figure out what it is that's wrong and what I can do to fix it. There's also can be an astrological issue going on, you know, with your chart, where there could be a problem where for some reason with the planets, you know, money just doesn't fall in your lap. Maybe you have to really, really work for it, or whatever it is. In those cases, it is good to have a witch to do it for you, because if you are compromised through your astrological chart, you can try and it might not work because there are lessons you're supposed to be learning. And so that's when you can go ahead and get some help. And so what else would you like to add to that? I wanted to take a look also and see what's happening.
Yeah, you take a look at the chat room, and I responded to you pretty much said everything. And my only thing is I would add is that it does help you evolve and grow, and become that person that you're meant to be as that warrior witch or whatever it is, you know, that you need to be for the position or whatever it presents itself to you. Because I know you've developed potions and different things that helped you with your Lyme disease and everything else, and me with my lupus. We all become these people that evolve and grow from our craft and what we've done with it, whether we had help or not, you know, and asking for help is never a bad thing. Because I have heard many military personnel that are amazing on their own, but they said without the help or assistance of that other person, they would not have survived. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you have to really think about it in the sense of, to me, I see it as, I don't see it as a weakness, even though we do have that where we don't feel good about reaching out for help. But when you think about it from that bigger position, you have to think about it like the military, and how as a 6 or 7 of them or whatever it is, one person's got their 6 and all of that, and they each have their specialty of what they do, and they could come at it from a different part and protect yourselves completely, you know. So it's kind of like looking at the same thing but from different angles, and having the foresight to know, okay, getting the help is going to help me get there faster or better, or in a sense where it's more rounded out for you. So I think it's wonderful what you were saying. Absolutely. So what have they got saying in the chat room?
Well, we've got J Key, who says, in her opinion, not if it's against a person while knowing only half the story, not to mention how much unnecessary, potentially bad karma comes back around. But things like help with money or cleansings or blessings, I can understand. Oh, okay. So I see you're saying, so if you're seeing that if someone, to hire someone to do a spell who wants to get revenge or someone or something like that, you're like, no, don't do it because you only know half the story. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
And that, and you know what, and that can happen. And then we've also got Peggy, who says, I like to do things myself, but might need help. So yes, I'd reach out, but do it on my own. J.K. says, I'm mostly a do it myself person. Most of us witches are. We make our crafts, we do our stuff, we make our potions and our incenses, and, we fight back. So we mostly are do it ourselves people. But I also think one of the things that we also have to remember is we also have to learn humility. It takes humility to say, you know what, I've got this problem and I've been trying to work on it and nothing is happening. Will you please help me? We can't just believe that we have to constantly do everything on our own and not trust. It's okay to humble yourself and say, you know what, I need some help here. I need help. So humbling yourself is also can be a part of it too. Let's see.
Well, the other thing too, as you said that about humbling, is not necessarily even so much as humbling as when you reach out to someone else to get the help. You may have been thinking about it in one way, and when another witch says, you know, how about this particular way, and then all of a sudden it hits you like, goodness, I could have been doing it that way. I didn't even think about that. You know, it's just to wake you up from another perspective. And it's just good to have that because I don't care what or who that person is, they don't know everything. No
Nope.
one knows everything. So getting that other person to tell you or to show you a different way for a second, so what? All it does is improves you as that witch and evolve you and grow your craft to an even bigger and better point. You know, it suggests growth and evolving. I mean, I see it that way. I mean, we coming at things from different angles, and maybe as powerful as we are, that angle, that new angle of or thought of coming at it helps just from twisting it into a different angle. You know what I mean? We cannot all think of everything. We're just not made that way. We're human beings, and that means that we are not all knowing. We're just not.
No, we're not. And you never will be. You know, you can't know everything. You just can't. And so personally, I love learning.
Me too. I was just thinking that same thought. I love learning. I love seeing another perspective. Books out there. All books are, no matter what we say or do, all books are by different authors are their perspective on something. And it makes you think. It makes you think, whatever that book is. So you've been getting help from many, many witches over the years,
for many years.
Don't see it for that. But that's what you've been doing, a different perspective. So you have been getting that no matter how much we are do it yourself. You've been getting and asking for help. When you buy that book, you're asking for help and let's see what that other person thinks. It's just natural. It's what we've done. And without all of those different thoughts and different ideas, we wouldn't be who we are today.
That's right.
We just wouldn't. I don't care who it is, whether it's, you know, an author that you have no more respect for or whatever it is, you still got something that you gleaned from that author in some way.
Right.
Okay. I know now not to try that particular thing. You still get something out of it. You know what I mean? You got to think of everything like that.
You do. I love my library, and I'm constantly.
I
don't have time to read half the things I buy. When I do need it, it's right there. And I have no problem with going looking for a book and saying, oh, here's a good spell, or here's this, or here's that. It's someone else's spell. It's someone else's work. I have no problem using it. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, some of us, and Goddess Starr and I have talked about this before, some of us get what we call the itises, where we are the queen, and we have queen-itis, in which we're the only ones who know the only way of how to do anything. And no one else knows how to do it, and your way is the only way, and blah, 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 and things like that. You know, people will go, well, you're doing it wrong. You know, you're supposed to do it this way. That's a person that is going to have to learn humility. Whereas most of us, though, I think because we buy books, we take classes, we talk to other witches, things like that. I have no problem with borrowing a spell from somebody else or one of my books or something else that makes sense to me. And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing this. So we've got JQ also says healings. You know, I understand. I personally, I don't think that acupuncturists think of themselves as witches, but I do. I think of them as healers.
Yeah.
And I love acupuncture. I could just lay there. It is such a high.
Yeah, go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I just love that. Hey, Raven. And then we've got Veray. It says, what's the name of the book? Which book, sweetie? Because we need to know which book.
Oh, I think the one that you were mentioning, that it fell from whatever it is, just a book. I don't know what it was. But
it's called Karmic Astrology. You have to get it used. Next time when I give Goddess Starr, when she starts talking about something, I'll go and get it. And I'll let you see what it looks like. It's actually a series of 4. I bought this book used. I don't know how many years ago, I'm still unpacking, and this book literally just like appeared, like the universe pulled it out of one of my boxes. And so I said, you know what, I better look at this, because they pulled it out. And it was really, really, it just really brought some things home about my, what I'm here to learn and things like that. And I'll get that in a few minutes. It's a series of 4 books. I just ordered, when I saw that there was 3 more books, I actually just ordered all 3 of them from Amazon. Like I said, you have to get them used because they're out of print, but it's really a mind-blowing eye-opener, and I'll get it for you in a few minutes.
Yeah, please. I'd love to hear. I'd love to see it myself and see what else. Because I'll tell you, I am so bad at astrology. I am not that great. I will understand based on certain things with the moon, but outside of that, my brain just can't seem to formulate astrology in my head for some reason.
Well, you know why? Just to quickly fix that, the reason for that is you're thinking of it in terms of planets, when you already know all the gods and goddesses those planets represent. And since you already know what they represent, you already know what's going on with that. That already solves half your problem, is you're thinking in terms of planets instead of the deity that they represent.
Yeah.
You know all those deities. You know them, you know what they represent.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you're right, because I know the gods and goddesses, but then I'm sitting there looking at the planets and it's like,
They're all named after those gods and goddesses.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
have their shadow side, their light side, So if you know the god and goddess, you understand that planet. So you're already halfway there.
Okay, see that no one ever said to me, look at it from the gods and goddesses point of view. I just always kind of went, this is like a whole other animal, and I can't seem to wrap around my mind around it. And I just couldn't. And I'm gonna come at it differently. See, I just learned something new that I just got assistance from and you know me, I know my stuff with a lot of things, but for some reason that one just never, I have taken so many classes with it and it just never filtered in. But I'm gonna, from the gods and goddesses point of view, I will understand that a lot better now.
Probably the classes that you took were explaining it from a scientific standpoint. Your witchy brain is like, what? But if they had said, goddess Venus and she represents this, and
no, that they will not. And actually, you're right. Not one of them, and they were witches. Not one of them came at it with me from the gods and goddesses point of view, and I understand gods and goddesses.
Yes.
And not one of them, as witches that were teaching it, taught it from that point of view.
That's how I learned it.
I want to kind of snap out of it, people. Teach it, slap them and go. Snap out of it. Teach it from a god and goddess point of view, and I'll understand it better. But maybe I'm the only one who was like that, and everybody else understood. It always felt like that. It always felt like everybody else understood, and I'm the only one who's sitting there going brain dead.
No, I'm not a science-minded kind of chick either. I learned it because of what I know through deity. If you say
there you go.
What Venus represents. If you say Mars, got it.
Yep, I will get it from now on. I will, because now I'm just going to go put the darn god and goddess where they belong and go, okay, gotcha.
That's it. And that's all you see. You've already solved your problem.
Yeah, I'm going to put the god and goddess on that planet and I go, okay, let's chat.
And you see, and all it took for you was to say, you know what? I don't understand astrology.
I just don't. I'm going to admit it. I am a witch in so many ways, but I could not wrap that shit around my head no matter what I tried. And I took those classes so many times with different teachers and people getting what they're saying. And I'm just sitting there going, wow, 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 wow. That's all I heard.
That's okay. We all learn differently. And you are such a witch that when they came at you from the scientific standpoint, well, the
and the trining, and I'm like, okay, the trining did what?
And it's like, okay. I can tell what's happening if you just tell me what god and goddess is where they are in my heart. I can get that.
See?
And so that will help you.
Yep. I would go from there and I'd be like, I got that. Now you're making you eager to go and look at my astrology books and go, God and goddess, I see you rocket now.
Well, it's easier if you look at it that way.
I never thought of it a different perspective. That's all I needed, was a different perspective coming at me from whatever it is, and I did not think of that. Snap.
See?
I just didn't.
And then also you have to remember that not all witches study a lot of different deities. You study a lot of different spiritualities and gods and goddesses. So you're very familiar with the Roman and Greek gods and goddesses and what they represent. And so that, but not all witches are. So they might not be able to teach it from that standpoint. They might not know Goddess Venus.
Yeah.
They might not know Mercury. They might not know any of them because they may be coming from a whole different modality, a whole different tradition. And so they're teaching it from the science aspect of it because they don't know them. You know them.
Yeah.
So that's going to make...
I got that now. I got that. I so got that now. I can't wait to go and look at it differently now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Go ahead, girl.
Okay. And then we've got Goddess Judy here who says, do you feel there is power in numbers? Absolutely. Like I can do a spell myself, but if I ask another to help me, something that wouldn't be against the natural order of a person's will, a pure spell, of course you can have someone help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that makes it very powerful.
It is. It's very powerful. When you go on to like Facebook or whatever social media and someone comes in there and says, I'm really sick today, could you guys pray for me? And then you see like 500 people like, we're praying for you. That's 500 people sending you healing energy while you just lay there. You've got all these people sending energy to you. And so absolutely there is strength in numbers. As long as that person is sincere with really helping you. If they're helping you but they don't really feel like it, then there's no point in asking them.
Yeah. And also think about remember the witches in England? I forgot how many of them there were when Hitler was supposed to be hitting Europe, England and all of those areas. He had it all mapped out and planned to go there. And they got together, these witches. Yes, some of them were sacrificed in the sense of some of them, because of their age and stuff, they died in the process at the end. But it took a few, I don't remember exactly how many of them, that it took all their energies to do this spell. But they got, no one knows, including Hitler, why he never did follow through with those plans that he had. It was in black and white on print that this is where he was going to go, but he never got to England for whatever reasons. So to me, the strengthening numbers of what they were, it took all of their energies to do this. This is why, yes, we're all solitary, but it's the reason why, whether it's a Sabbat or a full moon or whatever it is, whether we get together virtually on Facebook or whatever it is, or in person, we feel the energies of all of us with that energy of the gods and goddesses, with whatever it is. We feel it. We walk away on a high because it is a strength in numbers. Whatever and whenever you can garner that energy, go for it. Because it is actually like getting your battery charged up. Imagine a witch high on their battery charged up just from energies. Yeah. And you can take that energy home and work some spells with it. There's a lot of, whenever we do full moons here in Manhattan, that's what we do. And we tell them to take that home and do the spell and finish up at the full moon. Do something with it because you've got all that beautiful charged energy. So strengthening numbers, absolutely. All right?
Absolutely, yes. That is very, very true. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Let's see, we've got, excuse me. Jakey says, here's a quick trick. Look up which house Scorpio is in your chart, and that is where your magic is the strongest. Peggy says, I need to look. Peggy is also a Scorpio, and Veray says that she's a Scorpio. And Jakey says in her chart, Scorpio is in the 4th house of the home, so mine is strongest in the home, anyone's home, actually. Well, I don't know that I'm going to agree with the Scorpio being the strongest. I think that it is an extremely strong magical indication of where a lot of your magic lies, but not necessarily all of it. It all depends, like, and this is strictly my theory, I think most of your power lies where Pluto is. Or also if you have like an 8th house sun, there's a lot of different aspects that are going on with that. But it is a good indication if you look at where your Scorpio is, it can help you. All right, so then Goddess Judy says, let's see. What I worry about is, like Rhonda said, what if the other person's half-hearted or perhaps are excited or negative? How can you prevent that? Well, that is where you're going to actually have to feel that person out. If they're offering to help you, don't listen to them saying, sure, I'll help you. What is their energy saying? What is their body language saying? Are they, if you call them up and you say, look, I really, really need some help and I need you to do this prosperity spell for me. If there's like a few second lapse before they respond to you, and then they're like, oh, okay. Usually it's that few seconds where they're saying, I don't really want to do this. I don't know if I want to do this. But they say, okay, I'll do it. So if you ask them and they wait like a few seconds to answer, you already know, you know what, never mind, thanks. I appreciate that you were willing to help me, but I'll handle it. Don't even bother with that person or feel their energy. Sometimes if you're trying to do a spell that's going to elevate you, your friends can actually get jealous because then they're like, well, what if it works? And then she gets richer than me, or she gets a boyfriend and I don't, or
yeah.
that. And so you don't want anyone who's going to be jealous. In fact, you'd be probably better off asking someone who already has what it is that you want. So this way they don't feel threatened. Because if you're asking someone to help you with something that they themselves don't have, then there could be some jealousy or envy or other emotions that go into it that you really don't want to align yourself with it. But if you're looking for love and you find a witch who's happily married with 50 children, she's not going to feel threatened if you get a boyfriend. Have her do it, to help you.
Yeah, I have another suggestion too, because we do a lot of public rituals. And when we are at full moon, especially when we're doing different spells based on the planets and where they are and all of that. And what I usually do as the priestess running it, I kind of let them know that they can put whatever spells they want to do at that time. It doesn't have to be just one person's spell. They work on their own, but at the same time, utilize the energies of everyone in the circle. And the idea is, if you're doing it, again, because it's strangers, essentially, the idea is that because you all want an amazing outcome for whatever that spell is that you're working on personally, the energies that you raise collectively, no one's being jealous or negative or anything, because they want individually that their spell to work. And they want the energies of everyone's in the circle to be there and point on. So when we do the charging and the circle chanting and dancing that we do, and we raise that energy, and I tell them to hold on to the spell and grab it with their energies and take it into themselves and, take it home afterwards and finish up the spell at home, personally saying what they want to say. They've came in, they've recharged their battery, they've gotten the energy they needed from everyone. No one's holding back a negative thought because, again, they've all of one single mind to get whatever spell they're working on to be able to get that beautiful outcome. So sometimes going to a ritual with a group of people, whether they're strangers or not, if you know that they can bring in great energies for you, and you can walk away charged and ready with your spell, ready to do what you got to do. And you walked away ready to do with all that energy. And you go home and you finish it up the way you want to verbalize what it is in its truest form and utilize that energy, that whether you took a stone or a candle or whatever it is with you there, or they even, like what I tend to do is I give everyone a candle or whatever it is, or even a stone I've given, a quartz stone, depending on what spell we're working on, and tell them to charge whatever spell that they're doing to be grounded into that and take it home and finish it up. So work with what the energies are, see it for what it is, and utilize it. The idea is the energies that will raise are tenfold, because it's no longer just your ideas and energies. It's all of this. And then they raise that chant and the energies with it. And then you take it home with you. And most people that came back, about 99.9% of them said that their spells just turned out amazing, or they were amazed that it was done in a day, or whether it took 30 days or whatever, but it came out amazingly. Sometimes not the way exactly as they wanted it, but they were like, the outcome was perfect for what they needed. So there are many ways of working around things like that. And yes, Goddess Rhonda is absolutely right. Sometimes going to a personal friend or something may not be the best because of whatever situation. And again, I like the idea of if that person is married with lots of kids and happy, that's a good one. You know, but or otherwise go with the group idea of it. If you have a priest or priestess that knows how to really guide that circle and take people there, you can walk away charged, ready to go and do yours. All right? You should take that and work with it. We do it
Absolutely.
every month.
I agree with that. 100%. I like pujas. I like Hindu ceremonies. And when I go to pujas, I get a lot of stuff. I get a lot of things that I go there for. But I also do a lot of online ceremonies. I went online so I could reach more people, and I reach a lot of people online, and I get a lot of great feedback. Because first of all, even though it's still an energetic circle,
Absolutely.
everyone's in their own little space, or their own working on their own little goals,
Yeah.
but they're still adding their energy.
Yeah,
Nobody's
absolutely.
jealous of anybody, so that's where you just want to be careful. Sometimes it's sad though it is to say, sometimes you're better off going to a stranger for help, because your friends can be the first ones
Yeah.
to
Sabotage, unfortunately.
sabotage it, because they don't want you to
To
get
be better
ahead.
than them. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas a total stranger doesn't care. It's like, well, what do you want? And here it is, and here's what we can do for you. But
And it's kind of sad because I was speaking recently with one of my rich friends, and we were admitting that it's sad that we cannot always find people that will be supportive of you no matter what, through whatever situation, rather than trying to take away from you or destroy what you're trying to create. Unfortunately, we run into people more of the negative side, and it's very sad. And I wish we can form a group of us, just whatever it is that is always there for one another. But when I think of your um online rituals, I think of Buffy with that whole scene of where they go, but it's awesome. I'm thinking of it in a good way, the same way that they brought him out into from the ether into the real. All of that is real, and the energy is going through all the computers and all the different things. And yay, you guys, I mean, the energy is can be, people forget that the electrical gods and goddesses are all there. Spirit is there, all electrical, get to know their names. They're all new gods and goddesses. A lot of them are very new, or old ones that have found a new way through to you. And you have to now learn to, whether they've gotten a new name or learn how to work with them through these means. And electric energies and electric spirit work is amazing. So, yay, Goddess Rhonda for doing that, we each have it differently. And I think energy rays is energy rays, period. So I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm coming back. I had to go and get that book.
I figured so. I said I know, and I was going to go to the chat room and say, just in case. Go ahead, girl.
Okay, so the name of the book is called Karmic Astrology, and it's by Martin Schulman. And with this particular edition, this is volume 1. There's 4 in the set. So I haven't seen the other 3, so I can't really tell you what's going on with them. I bought them because of this book, which has really opened my eyes. So just to give you just a quickie, what it does is, based on the year you were born, it will tell you what your north node and your south node are, which tells you what you're here to learn and what you're here to let go of. And I won't bother reading, this whole thing about me, because I'm not going to take up all this time. But what I read, which fascinated me, was it said that my goal in this lifetime, that in my other incarnations, I have put my own self to the side for other people. And in this lifetime, I'm supposed to be learning how to be a leader and take care of myself instead of everyone else. And I'm like, you waited all these years to tell me this? Because that's what I've still been doing for all this time, is taking care of everybody else and putting, although I've gotten much better at, bringing myself into it and doing things that I need to do for myself out of survival. I have no choice, I have to. But typically it'll be after, I've helped so many people, I turn around and my life is in chaos, and I have to stop and do something.
Yeah.
This whole time was basically, I'm supposed to actually be going against my being an empath and putting myself first to get my stuff done. So that really just knocked me out, to hear that when they're like, oh, in your other incarnations, you were taking care of everybody and doing everything for everybody. And in this one, you're supposed to do for yourself and be a leader that way, and take charge and put yourself first so that you can actually become a leader. And all these years, I have been taking care of everybody and putting myself last. So I guess now is the time. I guess I learned whatever it is I need to learn, that now I'm ready to go and take that next step, which is why this book kind of fell out and hit me in the head practically. And so now I can't get the other ones, but it does have a guide in the back that tells you based on what year you were born, what the note is, and then you can just look it up and it'll tell you. And then if you can look up your chart, which you can always look up your chart online. There's so many places you can look at your chart. And then it'll tell you like what house it's in and what it is you're supposed to learn. So I learned so much from this little book that I've had. I don't even know how long I've had this book. It's from 1975. I bought it used for $5. I don't know where exactly. And I remember buying it, but it was years and years ago. And like many of my books, it just sat there, and then I moved and everything went in the box. That's why it's amazing that this book showed up, because most of my books are still in boxes. I haven't had time.
Yeah.
And now here's this one. It was the universe saying, okay, you learned whatever it was you were supposed to learn. Now it's time to take it to the next level. Now it's time for you. So since I read that, I've been going gung-ho on, working out ways to promote myself and do things for myself and kind of pull myself more out there because of this little tiny book. So it is, again, it's called Karmic Astrology. It's by Martin Schulman.
Schulman, yeah.
Schulman. And you can get it used on Amazon.
All right. I'll check that out. That sounds interesting.
And there's 3 more volumes that go with it. And they were really cheap too. I think one of them cost me $2. One of them cost me $4 because you have to pay for shipping. But all in all,
but altogether, I mean, it's worth it. A lot of these older books, actually, a lot of the older books that I've had, or first editions of and stuff like that, I mean, they're amazing. They had so much insight, and of course, as the author got older and more knowledge, they give you some more insight and more feedback. But I think it's wonderful, So with the other volumes, is that more added on, or?
Yes, there's more. It's all about your karma, what you're supposed to be here to do. So I think one of them has to do with, here, I'll just tell you really quick since we're talking about it.
Yeah.
While I look up my order, J.K., I noticed that you said that we don't have, a lot of public ceremonies here. Actually, we do. We have, well, we don't have a lot. I'll take that back. But we do have the Albuquerque witches that do ceremonies for the Esbats and the Sabbats. But the problem with that is that they're all the way, even though they call themselves Albuquerque witches, they're actually all the way in the East Mountains. And, it's just too far for me to go. So, but if you can get a ride, I mean, you can go in. But they do come into town once a month. They do this thing. It's like lunch and just to get together, just to be with other witches.
Yeah. That's awesome. Or you guys can form your own group. I mean, the reason I formed even the temple was because there were so many different groups, and New York is filled with many different groups of different things, but they're very private. You know how I mean, covens and whatever, they keep very much to themselves. They pick and choose. They're very cliquey, whatever it is. And I went to a few of them, and my son was young at the time, and they were not very, very good with having kids there, even though he would sit quietly playing with his trucks, not even making any noise at all. They were not very welcoming. So I did not like the idea of, I think I mentioned it to you guys before, of all of that and some of the things they said to us. like calling us breeders. So I just kind of said, okay, fine. I don't see anything out there that fits me. So I'll form my own. And we started with like 3 or 4 of us at the time. And years later, look at us. You know what I mean? We're a full temple at 501c3 and all of it. It starts somewhere. And that was back in 2003.
And that's
And we're
what
now in
motivated.
2018. It took years, but I mean, and things, people have moved out of the city and moved on to other places. But at some point, I think no matter what, we all solitary because we all go home at one point and practice at home. I don't care who they are and what covens they are or traditions. We're all solitary in one form or another. But I think if every now and then you can get together with people that you do feel that somehow the energy is there with you guys, and you can vet them out yourself, especially when you start it yourself. Vet them yourself and decide, even if it's just 3 of you, start with that and go from there and raise the energy that you guys need and with it. I mean, that's what we did. We literally had 3 of us when we started. And years later, we're like one of the biggest groups in New York City because we persistently, and yes, it's hard work. I'm not saying it isn't, of persistently staying and persevering through it. And people could come and go all they want, but this is what I want. I'm determined to create this where it's a safe haven for anyone who wants to come and get together. And whatever it is that you want to do. And maybe it's like Goddess Rhonda said, I did my astrology charting. That young lady that taught it, she's brilliant. And she said to me that I began in my last lifetime to be the leader that I was meant to be. And I have to continue now and into another lifetime. I'm not happy about that because I did not want to be that leader. I never wanted to be. It's not something I wanted to do. I don't even know how I ended up doing it, but I did. And she said, it's because I have to.
And you know what? And if you have to, you have to.
And you know what's funny? I'm good at it. I never be terrified of public speaking and all of that. And here I am.
Either. When it's really, when I was in high school, and I was very shy when I was, I was really, really shy, except when we had to stand in front of the class and read a paper. I got up there like I was the freaking empress of the world, all shyness left. And I would stand up and, excuse me, please, I'm waiting for you to pay attention to me. Excuse me. It's about me now. Pay attention. I never had that problem with public speaking.
Girl, that's awesome. I wish I had that. I just don't.
I have a Leo rising, but still.
Yeah, girl, for many years, what I did was I had a tendency, and I still have it to do it sometimes, where I would shove someone else ahead. And they're like, Starr, no, I'm sorry, but you did this. I don't know how to talk about what you did. You need to get here. Like they will shove me forward to do it and stuff like that. And I was just like, no, I'm not that. I'm terrified. I'm always do. It's just that when I'm pushed and forward and stuff like that, because I'm the one that's creating whatever it is, I start talking and it just goes. But I'm still terrified to this day.
I love it. I suck it up. So for those of you
Girl, I wish I had that. I wish I had that.
We've got the other book is Karmic Astrology Volume 2, which is Retrogrades and Reincarnation. Karmic Astrology 3 is Joy and the Part of Fortune. So it'll tell you where your fortune lies or, karmically where that is. And then 4 is the Karma.
I got to read that.
So you can get them all on Amazon. If you just put in Karmic Astrology and
okay, I'll do that.
All 4 of his books will come up, and then you can just order.
Yeah. First, I'm going to go set up all my gods and god planets, and then I'm going to go from there, and I'm going to go to Karmic. I'm so happy. I can't wait to learn it.
But now you can learn it your way.
That's what I mean. I can't wait. You got me so excited now because I used to have all that astrology stuff there, and I'm like, I'm not ever touching those things. I don't understand them. It's like looking at another language altogether that I couldn't understand. Now I can. I found my decipher. I found my, what do you call it? What do you call it? My Akasha records. I found my deciphering code.
Found it. You found it. So that's a good thing.
Thank you.
All right. You are welcome. And so we are going to, let me just take one last look in our chat room, then we'll move on to our next subject. Okay, so let's see. So Jakey tried the Albuquerque witches. Alas, they are very political and cliquish. I went to like 2 of their
I
lunches.
hate that. Why are they always so cliquish
Get out there.
that's why you gotta, when you see you've tried other groups and stuff, that's when you kind of go, okay, I've tried it. I followed whatever they wanted, and I'm sorry. Form your own shit.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
went
kidding.
to.
Form your own. Put it out on Facebook. Put it out on what you call it, Witch Fox. Start
Yeah,
your own and put it out on Meetup and see what happens. And you might be surprised who you find. You might find other people who are thinking just like you. Just
exactly.
like you. Okay? And go for it. What does it hurt? What
It
harm does it do?
hurt.
Give it a
It
try.
We've also got, let's see, Jakey says, oh no, I have stage fright and also a Leo rising. Well, we're going to get you out of that, girlfriend. Because that
Wait
is
a minute. Who is it that said that? Who is it that said that?
Jakey.
Yeah, Jakey, the one with the wine. Yeah. Girl, get over it. Snap out of it.
You know what you need? You need another glass of wine.
I know. I was just going to say she needs another glass of wine. And I know I'm not telling you the name, but you need another glass of your wine.
And then you know what we're going to do? We're going to go sing karaoke. I love getting up there and singing karaoke.
Oh my God. I will never do it. I will never do it.
I like it. You know, like I said, I was extremely shy, but you put me in front of a whole group of people. I loved every second of that. All right, let's move on to our next. Well, actually, we have a good segue into our next thing because we've got Raven, who asked how many types of magic are there. Raven Goddess.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
You know what? Technically, we can say there's one type because it's all basic, has the same basic components. But there's so many traditions and different ways of doing them that even if we live to be 1,000, I don't know that we could cover all of them.
Yeah.
Because every little place has its own little folk magic. You'll hear people argue.
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
that this one particular culture stole our folk magic, and the other one's like, no, we had it first. Like, dudes, we all have our way of doing it, and maybe a lot of it is similar. Nobody stole anything from anybody. You were just taught your way, they were taught their way. Just because it's 2 different cultures doesn't mean you guys, you know, there's no such thing as an original idea, if you ask me. If you thought of it, someone else did too. And so it really bugs me. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is when I see, oh, they stole our magic. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
And I've seen this in several different Facebook groups where
it's everywhere.
Our ways and they stole it. You know, my great grandfather and wherever he was from was doing it, and they stole it. And they're like, well, my great grandfather did it first. And, you know, there's just so many different kinds, so many different ways to do it. Even though technically it's the same basic components. But, you know, there's adding different herbs or adding different oils or whatever, or candles or whatever it is, or calling on different deity. There's just so many that you probably could not, I don't think you could come up with a number because there's forms of magic we don't even know about.
Yeah. And I will add to what you just said. I know I keep seeing him with his tails wagging behind you. That is driving me insane. I'm looking at him and you see me looking behind you and I'm like, yeah, his tail is going. But anyways, no, what I was going to add to yours and say is when people say that whole thing about the stealing and all the appropriation and all the different things, I hate to tell people this. If we as witches believe that we've been here many a lifetimes, many a reincarnation, there are no original thoughts. Think about it. If that would mean at some point in one of our lifetimes, we will witness to one of these magics. So whether you are here, you've heard Goddess Rhonda and I talk about the skin you're in right now. Whatever it is, it shows up at some point. Or you come up with this idea and you go, oh, I've just thought of this idea. No, honey, that idea came from one of your lifetimes that you saw someone else do. There's no original thought. I don't care who they are. They've created something that's new. Yes, for the time. They've added something modern maybe to it or whatever. But the original thought of it, no one's recreating the wheel. It's still the same damn wheel. It's just how
That's
you roll that wheel. And whatever Lexus or brand of that wheel, it's still the same damn car. Well, no, I love my SUVs, I got to admit. Okay, I'm not going to digress into something else. But you guys know what I mean. Okay, the idea is basically there are no original thoughts, because I got accused of, with Witches Fest, I got accused of stealing the idea from the pride people, pagan pride people and stuff like that. I'm like, there are festivals around the world. Are you bloody kidding me right now? But whatever. I love what I do with it. And yes, I add on other things that I've taken from many people around the world. And I even tell them too, to their faces. I love that idea you had. I'm using it. I don't care.
Yeah.
It makes it good, and actually many of them have said to me, oh, we so love that you're using the idea. Thank you. And I'm like, yeah, because and I'm thinking to myself, you didn't come up with that original thought. You just think you did, but it's okay.
That's right.
It's all good. You form your own thing and do your own thing and create whatever from whatever. Don't let anyone take that or steal that idea from you or that thought from you. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're doing something wrong. You're not misappropriating. You're not whatever else that they accuse you of on Facebook. That's the first time I heard all those things, only till Facebook. Until I saw it, I was like, what? I started looking at it going, what? And I'm reading it and I'm like, oh my goddess, I need to walk away. And that's what I did, because I couldn't. Because even if I said something, I'd be like, bum rushed on different things.
And you know what?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my energies on that. No.
Because they're not going to agree with you. They're just
they're not
into the fight.
No, they're not. Because they so adamant, they so well believe what they're saying. And I'm sitting there going, are you not a witch? Have you not been here many a lifetime? Are you going to tell me you have not seen these things in your other lifetimes? What, were you dead in your other lifetime each time? You did not live a life? Really? Fine. Whatever.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
It has to make sense. That's why I love witchcraft. Everything has to be logical to me. It has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense to me and it's not logical, I can't.
I can't get it either.
Okay? I cannot put it in my craft. I cannot have it there. So what you're saying does not make sense to me. I will just do a gentle walk away on Facebook and not even say anything and I go, whatever.
I don't even read those.
It's too much. Too time consuming and energy.
I only have so much energy to use for everybody. So
I've got too much shit on the table. My different events and all of that. So
exactly. I'm already overloaded. I can't bother reading those problems. But one of the things that we were going to talk about is just like, what's your favorite kind of magic? And what kind of magic do you want to learn about? Just to see what kind is your favorite. I personally was thinking myself, what's my favorite kind of magic? And I don't know if I can say, because I integrate so many different forms of it. And I love every part of it. Like, I love making potions. I love candle. I love firework. If I had to say the one I utilize, I love fire. And so fire magic, I think, is probably at the top of the list. But I also like to do mental magic with no tools at all, where I just use my mind. One of the things that I would love to learn about is dance magic, because I love dancing. I love belly dancing. And I know that there are forms of, in fact, I was reading this book. I have to figure out what the name of it was. And in the book, and even though it was a fiction book, I believe there's a lot of truth in fiction. And there was this magician, and he did his spell work taking steps in a certain way. And at the back of the book, in the appendix, they actually gave you the steps he did to do it. So that, in my mind, the author of that book was a witch who was trying to teach, but in a different kind of a way. Because why would you put that in there? Like, oh, if you do your footwork this way, I have to find that book. I have to figure out even what the name of it was. I can see it in my head, but I'll figure it out, and then I can probably just get it on a Kindle again, because it's an old. I read it like literally years and years and years ago. But lately, that's been something that's on my mind, is learning dance magic.
Dance magic.
Like, learn how to do
fun.
that.
I have to say, it's fun, because part of our monthly ritual is the spiral dance, our version of it. It's not done the way that the original spiral is done, but it's done in a circle. And I watch people who are from different walks of life, whatever day they had, they came in and they all doldrum and introverted and different things. And then there's me, who's, they don't know that I'm shy or that I am, public speaking is a big deal for me and all of that, because when I step into the circle, I just become that priestess and I just do what I'm supposed to do. But when I get them going and they're dancing in the circle and they're raising the energy, I don't know how to describe it. The beatific look that becomes on their faces, that went from sad or doldrum or whatever, and this look on their faces that becomes, it's beautiful to watch. And I look at them and I say, look at the differences in what energy you went from coming into the circle to what you are right now.
Well, it's also fun to do this. I mean, I've done spiral dances.
Yeah, it's fun.
But I want to do there's dances that you can do individually over your period. It's just you, and you're weaving the energy through your dance motions and and movements. A lot of actually belly dance is a form of magic, because a lot of people don't understand that, you know, when you see the belly dancers today, and, you know, we've got our glitter and our stuff on and things like that, that's actually a westernized thing. When if you go back into the origins of belly dance was actually a fertility dance that was done for married couples. And the belly dancers would dance because they're working up that sexual energy and putting it around the couples for their honeymoon night. So that is a form of dance magic. What happened is when Europeans went over into India and Egypt and saw the belly dancers, first of all, their sexuality is a lot. I know that Muslims and Islam has taken over a lot, but before they came over and took over everything, sexuality was very open and very considered sacred. And so they had lots of nude deity statues and things, and the Europeans made them cover it up. But they also saw, because they looked at it as a form of just overt sexuality as opposed to what it was originally
fertility,
was fertility. And also it is also a demonstration of muscle control. And one of my belly dance teachers, she told me that she got hired to go and perform at a Middle Eastern wedding ceremony, and there was two of her friends who were also hired to perform there, so they all carpooled over to do it. And she said she was so embarrassed because, you know what, my screen is frozen. Can you guys see me?
I can see you and hear you.
And I'm moving around?
Yeah.
Okay, so then my screen's just frozen, so I'll just keep talking.
Yeah.
So anyway, she said she was so embarrassed because she goes to this party, and her and her friends are doing their belly dance for the couple. And the American men were like, whoa, yeah, you know, like acting like they were strippers.
Yes, they're such idiots, aren't they?
Middle Eastern men were sitting there respectfully watching, you know, and
uneducated.
And meanwhile, the American guys were acting like they were at the strip club. And she said she was so embarrassed about that. But they
have no concept, no idea. They have no idea of what it is. They have no couth at all. None.
They basically tried to turn it, then they turned it into more of the cabaret belly dancing, where you'd get up there and it was, you know, they turned it into perform for us as a group of men because you're basically a stripper. They had no respect for the actual sacred sexual energies that were being made by those belly dancers. So that is a form of fertility magic. But unfortunately it got as usual.
And it's sad with all of that, because that's what I actually if you guys can think back too, I don't know about you guys, but I remember going to nightclubs like Webster Hall and stuff like that. And I would stand there and their music going on. I didn't want to dance with anyone. I was dancing by myself. My eyes would be closed and I would be dancing. And it's all about me. It's me in the moment, and I don't care how sexy it is. Stay the hell away from me, because I didn't want their energies around me. And this was all about me, and they couldn't seem to understand that at all. The Western men they just don't seem to understand that you're trying to create something there. And it was not a fertility dance. It was a dance for me, and the comments like, well, what are you doing here at a club then if you're dancing by yourself? Well, I came out to enjoy myself by myself. It's like they don't seem to understand the concept. And that's kind of sad, because we have to now educate the Western men on what it is that we're trying to convey, but also the Western women, because Western women can be very much more harder on us than the males, unfortunately.
Got that right.
And it saddens me that women are so much more harder and mean, demeaning, disdainful, all of it. I've witnessed it. Even today, when I was waiting for my son at the McDonald's, it's just like, I don't understand why we treat each other in such a manner, worse than men could ever treat us. It's a sad, sad thing to see.
It is. It's really sad.
But anyways.
Not anyways. So anyway, that's kind of what I like. What's your favorite kind of magic?
My favorite kind of magic is, I love my candle magic. I don't know if I'm a fire sign. Like I said, I don't know my astrology at all.
Sign, actually, you are.
But I've always been in love with my candle magic. Lady Rhea's book on Enchanted Candle got me started. And for years, I have been doing classes on it and on the magic. And I told you guys about how I got my apartment here. All of that was my candle magic. Mm-hmm. So it is on the top of my list of my magic. My herbs follow behind it. Because again, the oil that I created for my pain and that do have, between the candles and the herbs, those are my magics. I love working with the things from the earth. It's a big deal for me, and the fire magic and all of it. And it always seems to come out right when I need it. And it always seems to work so well for me that I think what happens is, the magic, whatever spells we work of different types of magic, okay? Just in general across the board when we are at home and our different magics that we perform. Whichever ones that we have a tendency to see the results from more often is the one that's your favorite without realizing it. Because that's the one that for some reason you vibe with. So your vibe with it takes it and makes that magic come to being or come to fruition a lot better for you. And which is why you'd find your candle magic works best. I saw some of your candle works and stuff like that. It's because of the energies that you work with. It works for you. It fits for you. And many of us have our different magics that they work with, that we have a tendency to stick with. My mental magic, I don't know. I always feel like I'm inadequate with that.
You're not. Any tools. That word.
I'm not with it. I'm just saying, listen to the words I'm saying. I feel like I'm inadequate with it, but somehow it works out. But that's because I don't have as much faith, I guess, in that type of magic for me. And maybe that's why, to me, it doesn't come out exactly the way I want it to be. So it's not inadequate. I feel that way, but it's not. And that, in a way, is part of me negating its work, which I have to stop. Because I am very good at a lot of different types of magics. But again, I don't think about it. Half the time, even if I'm thinking I honestly don't sit back and think, oh, I'm not good with this or whatever. I just do it. And they work. And maybe that's part of the magic that I have. And I think all of us do. If we don't think about it and we just do it, don't think about it. Whatever the magic is, whatever's at my disposal, I will use the hell out of it. And that works. So whatever you have, wherever you are in this world, whatever magics are around you, I always think that whatever indigenous magic are around you is what works best for you, or whatever you feel comfortable with best. That's the right magic for you, because there's so many magics around the world. I don't think any one person knows them all. I don't care who they are. Again, we all don't know everything.
You can't know.
So what we can't, it's not physically possible. If it was, I think we would be like, I don't know, 1,000 years and plus old and still learning. And even
that, imagine if you knew like 1,000 kinds of magic and now you're ready to do a spell for some. You wouldn't even know which one to pull on. Be like, oh, should I use this one or should I use that one? Like,
yeah, you'd be confused, right?
So overwhelmed. It'd be like you just sit down and have a glass of wine and say, screw it. You're gonna do
I'm just using this.
You know, what
and,
you
and,
are focused on now is what it is you're here to learn at this point, or what it is you're supposed to utilize. I always say we have already been every kind of witch and magician there is. And so that's why a lot of us pull on all different kinds of traditions and put it in, create our own little, our own little thing going on. But I do think it is important for us to constantly increase our education. I really do.
Yeah. That too, as well as I am going to say one thing, whether you agree with me or not, but I'm going to say this. I do find that there are some witches that in this day and time have a tendency to, based on their race or whatever it is at this time, and they stick with that and they don't step outside of that. And I find that very sad, because that witch has now limited themselves to this much of the world, or this much of witchcraft. And if you are that type of witch where no one else pigeonholed you, you did that to yourself.
Right.
That's really sad. Because if you as a witch pigeonhole yourself into one little keg and that's where you stay, then you have just put yourself there and you will never learn beyond that. Yeah. All this lifetime and all the other lifetimes you've learned, you've come from all of that and you put yourself right there and you said, that's where I'm going to stay. Again, very, very sad. And it happens. I see it daily.
It happens a lot. And even if you say, well, if you even try to introduce.
Oh, no, they very no. I am from this background. I'm Celtic. So my ancestors, and I'm like looking at them like, and you're a witch? Yes, I am. But I'm like, okay, no problem. And I slowly just kind of go, it's been real. And I walk away. I don't say it's been real, but that's my attitude. It's been real. And I walk away because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with a witch that I cannot deal with a witch very much that they themselves, I didn't put them there. No one else put them there. They pigeonhole themselves there based on race, because now they've racistly put themselves there because that's what they choose to believe.
Right.
You don't even realize what they've done, and they've done it. And I'm like, okay, you will stay there until the day that you decide that you no longer belong in there.
Absolutely.
And their magics has done this. That they've narrowed their magic to this much, when, like we all have said, there's so much out there. How sad. And no one did that to them. They did it to themselves. That's extremely sad.
It is. It's very sad. And before we move on to our next show, I just wanted to see, I just saw this thing from Blazed Girl who says, I wanted to ask if anyone else calls on the ancestors to assist them with this. I'm so glad that you asked that. And this would be, again, Goddess Starr and I, we give you our opinions, okay? It's nothing that's set in stone. This is just how we feel about it. My personal opinion, first of all, I make offerings to my ancestors every day, but my attitude is the gods and goddesses are my ancestors. You have to figure, we call on our mother goddess, we call on our father god. If our mother is a goddess and our father is a god, that makes you a god or a goddess. And all those who came before you were gods and goddesses, since they come directly from our divine mother and our divine father. So when people talk about ancestor magic, I know some people might actually call on their grandmother or their aunt to come and help them. I have no problem with that. If they can help you. I have my grandmother who was a whiz with money. I'm like, look, Nana, I know you're trying to rest up there and all, but I need your help down here. Do something. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that when people talk about ancestor magic. To me, the gods and goddesses are our ancestors. They just got here first, and we are descendants of them. That's my personal opinion. There are those who will argue with me because there are people who do not pray to a deity. Their grandmother is the deity, or their great-great-grandmother, or their great-uncle is a deity. You know what? You're right. They are. They're gods and goddesses. The same way the gods and goddesses, the stories that we read about the gods and goddesses were when they were in either a human incarnation or when they were in a learning phase. They're not that people anymore. They've evolved past that now.
Yep. We've said that many times for years now that we've been doing the show. We've been saying that.
They've evolved past it, but the lessons remain to teach us a lesson. And so the same way your grandmother or your aunt or whoever had to come down here and learn their lessons, now they've gone on and transitioned, and now they are in a space where they can help you because of the lessons they've learned. So my opinion is, when you call upon your ancestors, you are calling upon a god or a goddess, because they are our ancestors. What do you think about that goddess Starr? Do you call on a specific, and like I'll call on my grandmother, because my grandmother was a whiz with money. And unfortunately, I'm too spaced out. I'm not as good as she was. So I asked for her help. My mother was really good at it too, but my grandmother taught my mother, so I'm going to the source. What do you think?
I kind of agree with both. I kind of like, in a way, you're kind of doing both. You're doing the god and goddesses as the ancestral, but you're also doing the venereal, like, ancestors and whatever it is. So I'm not one way, I'm both ways, because to me, they're all my ancestors. And I'm not going to just say the ancestors of the African heritage or the ancestors of the white heritage. I'm going to say my ancestors in general. And I might say the Thomas, or whatever it is I want to call the line of the Thomas tradition, or whatever it is, I will call on all of them, and the gods and goddesses, I will call any and every name I have to when I need it, depending on what I have to do. Because I consider myself that warrior witch. So depending on the situation that I have to be in and to fight back or whatever it is, I will call on them all and then some.
Absolutely.
I will call on every single one of them that I know of that can fight, that badass, that whatever. I will call every one of them and honor them, and I'll be like, let's kick ass, take names, and go with it from there. I really don't care. And to me, if they were also doing ancestral and they were my ancestors, they would be calling on the same thing too. Because at that point, when you're sitting there in trouble or whatever it is, you're not going, please, ancestors, whatever name. No. You're calling all of them. Let's kick ass and take names. It's simple. You do what you have to do based on the situation that you're in. And I do believe that the gods and goddesses, our ancestors, all of them are combined.
Right.
And we have to honor them. And you have to, whether you want to admit it or not, you honor them. You do honor by worshiping them in different things. And whether you choose to do it in whatever way that you want to say, or maybe, I think we all come up with ways in how we deal with things. Mm-hmm. Some witches say it's only one being, and what is the words that they use? I'm monotheistic with polytheistic tendencies. Okay. I don't believe that one. But yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of witches believe that way. I believe that is something that Christianity created, and it's been embedded in us so much that many witches believe that. I do not. I have always believed that they're all individuals, and I don't think I would not appreciate someone clamoring me all together with everybody else and telling me that I am all of many when I'm not. I'm an individual. So taking it from that perspective, I honor them all. And I will call their names individually, because I think respect is given just as much as I would like to be respected as my name. I do not wish to be called Rhonda, although I adore you, sweetie. I do not wish to be called Rhonda. I wish to be called Starr or Anne, either one. But I'm just saying, we as ancestors, when our descendants come forward, we would want them to call us by our names.
Right.
And veneer us for who we were and what we did, and what we can do for them. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I agree with
you. It's just my opinion. Again, I don't know everything. I never claim to ever know everything because I am still learning. I want to keep learning for the rest of my lifetime on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I'm that same person wanting to always learn going forward and I don't become part of the itises. Oh my God.
No, you won't. If you were, you would have already. That's not.
I don't want to be one of the itises knowing everything and being a little blah. But anyways.
And I wanted to just really briefly, I was saying, well, it's already late. Maybe we should save this one. But I wanted to talk about signs that let you know that your spell is working. And we're just going to, what do you think, Goddess Starr?
I didn't realize the time. I didn't realize the time. I think maybe we should wait.
People are saying goodnight and they're ready to go.
Yeah. It's 11. I didn't realize the time. It's 11:17. I was so caught up in all of it and it's late. Let's do whatever else for later.
Okay, we'll save that for the next time so we can talk about that. It's so early here.
We get so caught up with you guys that we kind of like, but we love you guys. That's the reason why we get so caught up with you guys. We love you guys and it is what it is. But time to eat. I am starving.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and close it out. I think we Goddess Starr and I were talking because we love reading all the chats and stuff, but we can't always read all of them because then it kind of cuts into what it is we're trying to talk about. So I decided a happy medium is we can still read, a lot of the things that are in there, but if we can't read everything, then what I can do is, in fact, let me do it now because once the show closes, I might not be able to. So let me just pop that out.
Right, then we'll do that quickly.
What I can do is I can copy and paste the entire chat into our Witch Times Television group. And then if you guys want to continue the conversation, but this way it lets everybody see what everyone has said. Because not everybody's reading the chat. I know a lot of people, they're using their phones and they can't even find it. And so what we'll do is we will we'll do it that way. So I popped it out so that this way I can copy and paste it. Then I can just put it in our chat room. Here, let me put this here before it goes away. And happy new moon. May all of your new moon intentions come true.
Yes.
Okay, so there we go. So with that said, as always, we love you, we honor you, we cherish you, we think you are the bizom. And we are so grateful to all of you because you join us on this journey. And each week you're here with us. You're like family now. Sometimes I really look forward to like our Monday.
Yeah, me too. And Judy and Jake, yes.
Yes. And we're not going to tell you ever what kind of wine Goddess Starr. I mean, you guys can go ahead and crack your jokes and try and spy and hire private investigators to follow her to trade. To follow her. I
got stalkers for my wine.
And she's never going to she's put a cloaking spell up. Where
yes.
Even if you follow her, sure, you're not going to be able to see what kind of wine it is. So we're just letting you know. I mean, if you want to keep trying, that's cool. It's cool. But you're never going to know. Sorry. So with that said, we love you. We will see you next week. And merry meet.
Yes.
Merry part.
Merry part. And merry meet again.
We love you guys.
Love you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care. See you Monday. Bye-bye.